Have you ever felt like you're standing in the eye of a storm, surrounded by countless worries, pressures, and unexpected challenges coming at you from every direction? The world around us has never moved faster, and sometimes this chaos can make us feel like we're losing control. But what if I told you that there are secrets to finding peace, even in the midst of this storm? These secrets aren't far-fetched ideas. They are practical tools that can help you regain control, turning chaos into opportunities for growth. In today's video, we will explore 10 invaluable lessons that are not just simple advice, but principles that can change how you face the world around you. You'll learn how to master your emotions, maintain your composure in the face of challenges, and most importantly, find peace within yourself, no matter how turbulent life gets. Imagine, instead of feeling swept away by the stress and anxieties of modern life, you could stand firm, calm, and clear-headed in the face of any challenge. This is not an easy task, but with what you're about to learn, it is entirely achievable. And the best part is you don't need to completely overhaul your life to do it. These lessons will show you how to reassess what you already have, adjust your mindset and attitude, and from there, find true balance and peace. If you've ever felt that life is too complicated and difficult to find happiness, then this video is for you. Stay with me, and together, we'll explore the path to peace amidst the chaos of modern life. Trust me, what you're about to hear could change the way you view and deal with everyday life. Lesson 1. We cannot control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we react. We've all been there. You're going about your day, everything seems fine, and then out of nowhere, something happens that throws you off balance. Maybe it's a sudden traffic jam, an unexpected email from your boss, or even something more serious, like a family emergency. In that moment, it feels like the world is conspiring against you, and your natural reaction is to get frustrated, anxious, or even angry. It's easy to feel like a victim of circumstances beyond our control. But what if I told you that in those very moments, you have more power than you think? The Stoics believed that while we can't control external events, we have absolute control over how we choose to respond to them. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most revered Stoic philosophers, wrote extensively about this in his personal journal, Meditation. He reminded himself that while he couldn't change the fact that bad things would happen, could choose how he reacted. He understood that his peace of mind depended not on external events, but on his inner disposition. Let's break this down. Imagine you're on your way to an important meeting, and suddenly you find yourself stuck in traffic. Your initial reaction might be to panic or get angry. Why is this happening to me? You might think. But take a step back. Is the traffic something you can control? No. What you can control is how you choose to deal with it. You can sit there, fuming and stressed, or you can take a deep breath, accept the situation, and maybe even use the time to listen to an audiobook or practice some mindfulness. Traffic won't move any faster just because you're upset, but you can make the experience less stressful by controlling your reaction. This principle isn't just about traffic jams. It applies to every aspect of life. Think about the last time someone said something that really got under your skin. Maybe it was a snide remark from a colleague or a thoughtless comment from a friend. Your immediate reaction might have been anger or hurt. But what if, instead of reacting emotionally, you paused and asked yourself, is this worth my peace of mind? Can I control what this person says, or can I only control how I choose to respond? By shifting your focus from what you can't control, what you can, you empower yourself to remain calm and centered, no matter what life throws at you. This doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending that everything is fine when it isn't. It means acknowledging your emotions, but not letting them control you. It's about understanding that while you can't change the external event, you can change your internal response. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. This is a powerful insight. It suggests that our experience of life isn't determined by external circumstances, but by our mindset. If we cultivate a mindset of acceptance, resilience, and calm, we can maintain our peace even in the midst of chaos. So the next time you find yourself in a situation that feels out of your control, remember this Stoic lesson. Pause, take a breath, and ask yourself, what can I control here? Focus on your reaction, not the situation. By doing this, you'll find that you have the power to turn even the most challenging circumstances into opportunities for growth and self-mastery. Lesson 2. Happiness comes from contentment with what we have, not from the endless pursuit of what we lack. In today's world, we're bombarded with messages telling us that happiness lies in having more. More money, more success, more possessions. Social media doesn't help. It's a constant stream of images showing us what we don't have, making us feel like we're always falling short. You see someone on Instagram with the perfect house, the perfect vacation, perfect life, and you start to think, if only I had that, then I'd be happy. But the truth is, this endless pursuit of more is a trap. The Stoics knew this thousands of years ago. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, taught that true happiness comes not from having more, but from being content with what we already have. He believed that the key to a happy life was understanding that we already possess everything we need to be happy. It's not about accumulating more, but about appreciating what you have. Let's take a moment to think about that. When was the last time you felt genuinely content? Not because you bought something new or achieved a new milestone, but because you simply appreciated the small things in your life. Maybe it was a quiet morning with a cup of coffee, the sound of rain on the window, or a simple meal shared with loved one. These moments of contentment are what the Stoics were talking about. They are the moments when we realize that happiness isn't something to be chased, something to be recognized in the here and now. But why is it so hard to be content? One reason is that we're conditioned to compare ourselves to others. We're constantly measuring our lives against an unrealistic standard set by society and amplified by social media. But this comparison is a thief of joy. It makes us focus on what we lack, rather than what we have. The Stoics understood this and taught that the only person we should compare ourselves to is who we were yesterday. Instead of asking, do I have more than others? We should ask, am I a better person today than I was yesterday? Seneca often wrote about the futility of chasing after more. He believed that no matter how much we accumulate, it will never be enough. We can't find contentment within ourselves. He once said, "It is not the man who has too little, the man who craves more, that is poor." This insight is as relevant today as it was in ancient Rome. We live in a world of abundance, yet so many of us feel empty and unfulfilled. Why? Because we're looking for happiness in the wrong places. True wealth, according to the Stoics, isn't measured by what you have, but by how little you need. When you can find joy in the simple things, when you can appreciate what you have without constantly craving more, you become truly wealthy. This doesn't mean you shouldn't strive for success or work towards your goals, but it does mean recognizing that your happiness doesn't depend on the outcome. It depends on your ability to find contentment in the process, in the journey, and in the present moment. One practical way to cultivate this mindset is by practicing gratitude. Take time each day to reflect on what you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as having a roof over your head, a good meal, or the support of friends and family. When you focus on what you have, rather than what you lack, you start to realize that you already have enough. This shift in perspective can transform your life. So, the next time you find yourself caught in the cycle of wanting more, take a step back. Ask yourself, what do I already have that brings me joy? Focus on those things, and you'll find that happiness isn't something you need to chase. It's something you can choose to experience right now, in this moment. Lesson 3. Live in the present. Don't let the past haunt you, or the future worry you. How often do we find ourselves trapped in the past or lost in worry about the future? It's almost second nature for us to replay old mistakes, regretting things we did or didn't do, or to anxiously anticipate what might go wrong in the days, months, or years ahead. But when we do this, we're not really living. We're merely existing, caught between what has been and what might be, missing out on what is. The Stoics understood the power of the present moment. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, taught that we should focus on the here and now, rather than being haunted by the past or worried about the future. He believed that the present moment is the only time we have any real power over. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain, but the present is ours to shape. Let's think about this for a moment. How much time do you spend thinking about past mistakes? Maybe it's something you said to someone years ago, a missed opportunity, or a decision you wish you could take back. These thoughts can be all-consuming, making you feel stuck in a loop of regret. But here's the thing. Past is unchangeable. No matter how much you dwell on it, you can't go back and undo what's been done. The Stoics would tell us that this is wasted energy that could be better spent on living fully in the present. Now, what about the future? It's natural to have concerns about what's to come. Will I get that promotion? Will my loved ones be safe? Will I achieve my goals? These worries can create a constant undercurrent of anxiety, making it difficult to enjoy the present. But just as the past is out of our hands, so too is the future. We can plan and prepare, but we cannot control what will happen. The Stoics believe that by focusing on the present, we can reduce this anxiety. After all, the future is simply a series of present moments that haven't happened yet. Epictetus taught that the key to a peaceful life is to live in accordance with nature, which means accepting the flow of time, past, present, and future. He encouraged us to be mindful of the present moment, to fully engage with what we're doing right now. This doesn't mean we ignore the past or stop planning for the future. Rather, it means not allowing them to dominate our thoughts and dictate our emotions. Imagine you're sitting at your desk, working on a project. Your mind starts to wander to a mistake you made last week or a deadline looming next month. Suddenly, you're no longer focused on the task at hand. You're not really present. This lack of presence can lead to mistakes, increased stress, and a general sense of dissatisfaction. But what if, instead of letting your mind wander, you gently bring it back to the present? You focus on the task in front of you, appreciating the process rather than worrying about the outcome. This is the Stoic way. Living in the present is a practice. It's something we have to consciously work on every day. One effective method the Stoics used is a form of mindfulness, which involves being fully aware of the current moment without judgment. You can start by paying attention to your breathing, the sensations in your body, or the sounds around you. This helps anchor your mind in the present and reduces the mental clutter that distracts you. Another technique is to set small, manageable goals for each day. Instead of being overwhelmed by the big picture, focus on what you can accomplish today. This not only makes your goals more attainable, but also helps you stay grounded in the present. And remember, it's about progress, not perfection. The Stoics believed that every day is an opportunity to practice living in harmony with the present moment. So, the next time you find yourself ruminating on the past or worrying about the future, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can I do right now? By bringing your attention back to the present, you'll find that life becomes richer, more meaningful, and yes, more peaceful. Lesson 4. Cultivating wisdom and virtue is the path to inner peace. In a world filled with distractions, temptations, and noise, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters. We're constantly bombarded with information, opinions, and pressures from all directions. It's no wonder that many of us feel overwhelmed and disconnected from our inner selves. But what if the key to navigating this chaos lies not in external achievements, but in cultivating wisdom and virtue within ourselves? The Stoics believed that wisdom and virtue are the foundation of a peaceful life. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, often reflected on the importance of these qualities in his writing. He believed that by nurturing wisdom and practicing virtue, we can rise above the noise and confusion of the world and find true inner peace. But what exactly do we mean by wisdom and virtue? In the Stoic sense, wisdom is the ability to see things clearly, understand the true nature of the world, and to make decisions that are in alignment with that understanding. It's about seeing through the illusions of life, false promises of wealth, fame, and power, and focusing on what is truly important, living a good and meaningful life. Virtue, on the other hand, is about living in accordance with your values. It's about doing what is right, even when it's difficult. For the Stoics, virtue was not just a set of moral principles. It was a way of life. They believed that by practicing virtues like courage, justice, temperance, and wisdom, we could achieve a state of inner tranquility, no matter what external circumstances we face. Let's break this down into something more tangible. Imagine you're faced with a difficult decision at work. Maybe you're tempted to cut corners or take a shortcut that you know isn't entirely ethical. It might seem like the easier path in the short term, but deep down, you know it's not the right thing to do. In this moment, you have a choice. You can act out of convenience, or you can choose the path of virtue, doing what is right even if it's harder. The Stoics would argue that choosing virtue leads to a more peaceful and fulfilling life. When you act in alignment with your values, you eliminate the inner conflict that comes from compromising your integrity. You might face challenges or even criticism from others, but you'll have the peace of mind that comes from knowing you did the right thing. Wisdom and virtue also help us navigate life's uncertainty. We can't predict the future or control everything that happens, but we can control how we respond. By cultivating wisdom, we learn to see situations clearly, without being clouded by fear or desire. We learn to make decisions based on reason and principle, rather than impulse or emotion. And by practicing virtue, we build the strength of character needed to stay true to our values, even in the face of adversity. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that life is short and unpredictable. He knew that the only way to make the most of our time on earth is to live with wisdom and virtue. In his meditations, he wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. E1." This is a powerful call to action. It reminds us that wisdom and virtue are not just ideas to ponder, principles to live by every day. So how do we cultivate these qualities in our own lives? It starts with self-reflection. Take time each day to reflect on your actions, your decisions, and your thoughts. Are they in alignment with your values? Are you living in a way that is true to who you want to be? This kind of introspection is essential for personal growth and for developing the wisdom and virtue that lead to inner peace. Next, seek out knowledge and understanding. Read, learn, and expose yourself to new ideas. The Stoics were avid students of philosophy, history, and the natural world. They believed that by expanding our understanding of the world, we can better navigate it with wisdom and clarity. Finally, practice virtue in your daily life. Make a conscious effort to act with integrity, to be just and fair in your dealings with others, to show courage in the face of challenges, and to exercise self-control in the pursuit of your goals. These small, everyday acts of virtue are the building blocks of a peaceful and meaningful life. By cultivating wisdom and virtue, you'll find that you're better equipped to handle life's challenges. You'll be able to rise above the noise and confusion of the world, and instead of being swept away by the chaos, you'll find a sense of peace and purpose that comes from within. Lesson 5. Obstacles are opportunities for growth. Life is full of challenges. We all face obstacles, whether they come in the form of personal setbacks, professional failures, or unforeseen hardships. When we encounter these difficulties, our natural instinct is often to view them as problems to be avoided or overcome as quickly as possible. But what if I told you that these very obstacles are not just barriers to your success, but essential elements of your growth? The Stoics believed that obstacles are not merely hurdles to jump over, but are integral to the path itself. This idea is encapsulated in the famous Stoic phrase, "The obstacle is the way." It's a powerful concept that challenges us to rethink how we perceive difficulty. Instead of seeing obstacles as things that block our progress, the Stoics encourage us to view them as opportunities for growth, learning, and development. Let's consider this in a real-world context. Think about a time when you faced a significant challenge. Maybe you lost a job, went through a painful breakup, or experienced a major health issue. In the moment, it likely felt like your world was falling apart. The pain and frustration might have been overwhelming, and you probably just wanted to find a way out. But if you look back on that experience now, you might realize that it was during that difficult time that you learned some of the most important lessons of your life. Perhaps losing your job pushed you to develop new skills or to pursue a career path that you're now passionate about. Maybe the breakup taught you more about yourself and what you truly need in a relationship. Or perhaps the health issue forced you to make lifestyle changes that have improved your overall well-being. These are examples of how obstacles can be transformative, forcing us to grow in ways we never would have if everything had gone smoothly. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, wrote extensively about the value of adversity. He believed that true strength of character is forged in the fires of difficulty. He argued that without obstacles, we would never truly know our own strength. It's only when we are tested, when we are pushed to our limits, that we discover what we are truly capable of. This doesn't mean that we should seek out difficulties or take pleasure in suffering. Rather, it means that when challenges do arise, and they inevitably will, we should embrace them as opportunities to learn and grow. The Stoics teach us that every obstacle carries within it the seeds of an equal or greater benefit, but it's up to us to find and cultivate those seeds. One way to do this is to change the way we think about failure. In our society, failure is often seen as something to be ashamed of, a sign that we're not good enough. But the Stoics saw failure differently. They viewed it as a natural and necessary part of life, a step on the path to success. Instead of fearing failure, they embraced it as a teacher. When you fail, it's not the end of the road. It's a chance to learn what doesn't work and to try again, greater knowledge and experience. Let's apply this to a practical example. Imagine you're working on a project at work, and despite your best efforts, it doesn't turn out the way you hoped. Your first reaction might be disappointment or frustration. You might even feel tempted to give up. But the Stoic approach would be to step back and ask, what can I learn from this experience? How can this setback make me better? By reframing the obstacle as a learning opportunity, you can turn it into a stepping stone to future success. The Stoics also teach us the importance of resilience, the ability to bounce back from setback. Resilience isn't about never experiencing difficulty. It's about how we respond when difficulty arises. It's about picking ourselves up, dusting ourselves off, and continuing forward with a renewed sense of determination. This kind of resilience is not innate. It's something that we build through practice and experience. Each time we face an obstacle and choose to persevere, we strengthen our resilience. In addition to resilience, the Stoics valued the virtue of perseverance, the ability to keep going, even when the going gets tough. They believe that perseverance is essential for achieving anything worthwhile in life. It's easy to stay committed when things are going well, but true perseverance is tested when we encounter difficulty. The Stoics understood that it's during these challenging times that our perseverance is most valuable. So the next time you face an obstacle, instead of seeing it as a roadblock, try to view it as an opportunity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this challenge help me grow? Remember, the obstacle is not in the way, it is the way. By embracing challenges and seeing them as opportunities for growth, you'll not only overcome them, but emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient on the other side. Lesson 6. Focus on what you can control. Let go of what you can't. One of the most liberating lessons the Stoics teach us is the importance of focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot. This idea is at the heart of Stoic philosophy and is beautifully articulated by Epictetus, who himself was a slave before becoming one of the most respected philosophers of his time. Despite his circumstances, Epictetus understood that while he could not control the events of his life, he could control how he responded to them. Let's start by exploring why this concept is so powerful. Life is full of uncertainties. We can't control the weather, the economy, other people's actions, or even many of the events that happen to us. And yet, so much of our stress and anxiety comes from trying to control these very things. We worry about what might happen, we get upset when things don't go our way, and we spend endless hours trying to change things that are simply beyond our control. But here's the truth. No matter how hard we try, we can't control everything. The Stoics recognized this and taught that the only things we truly have control over are our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes. This might seem like a limitation, but it's actually incredibly empowering. When we focus on what we can control, we free ourselves from the frustration and disappointment that comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. Think about it this way. Imagine you're planning a big outdoor event. You've put in weeks of work and everything is ready to go. But on the day of the event, the weather takes a turn for the worse and it starts raining. Your first reaction might be frustration or even panic. But take a moment to consider. Can you control the weather? No. What you can control is how you choose to respond. You can let the rain ruin your day, or you can adapt, move the event indoors, or even embrace the rain as part of the experience. This concept isn't just about the weather. It applies to every aspect of life. We can't control what others think of us, but we can control how we treat others. We can't control the outcomes of our efforts, but we can control how much effort we put in. We can't control the past, but we can control how we learn from it and move forward. Epictetus often reminded his students that the key to a peaceful life is to focus on what is within our control and to accept what is not. He taught that when we waste our energy trying to control things we can't, we only create suffering for ourselves. But when we focus on our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we can live with greater peace, clarity, and purpose. This idea is particularly relevant in today's world, where we are constantly bombarded with news and information about things that are beyond our control. It's easy to get caught up in the headlines, to worry about global events, and to feel overwhelmed by the problems of the world. But the Stoics would remind us that while it's important to be informed and engaged, we must also recognize our limits. We can't solve all the world's problems, but we can make a difference in our own lives and in the lives of those around us by focusing on what we can control. Letting go of what we can't control is not about giving up or being passive. It's about accepting reality as it is, rather than as we wish it to be. It's about recognizing that some things are simply beyond our influence, and choosing to focus our energy where it can have the most impact, on our own actions and attitude. One practical way to apply this lesson is to practice mindfulness. When you find yourself getting stressed or anxious about something beyond your control, take a moment to pause and breathe. Ask yourself, is this something I can control? The answer is no. Practice letting it go. Redirect your focus to something you can influence, whether it's your own behavior, your own thoughts, or the way you treat others. Another technique is to set boundaries for yourself. In today's connected world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed by the constant stream of information and demands on our attention. By setting boundaries, whether it's limiting your time on social media, focusing on one task at a time, or saying no to commitments that don't align with your values, you can regain control over your time and energy. Finally, remember that letting go of what you can't control is a practice, not something you master overnight. But with time and effort, you'll find that it becomes easier to distinguish between what you can influence and what you must accept. And as you do, you'll experience a greater sense of peace and freedom in your life. So the next time you find yourself worrying about something you can't control, take a step back. Remind yourself of the Stoic wisdom, focus on what you can control, and let go of the rest. By doing so, you'll free yourself from unnecessary stress and create space for what truly matters. Lesson 7. Live a life, purpose, and meaning. Have you ever asked yourself, what is the purpose of my life? It's a question that has puzzled humans for centuries, and the answer is often elusive. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it's easy to get caught up in the routine. Wake up, go to work, come home, and repeat. But deep down, we all yearn for something more, something that gives our lives meaning and direction. The Stoics believe that living a life of purpose and meaning is essential for achieving true happiness and fulfillment. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, often reflected on the importance of purpose in his writing. Despite being the most powerful man in the world, he understood that power, wealth, and fame were fleeting. What truly mattered was living a life aligned with his values and dedicated to a higher purpose. But what does it mean to live a life of purpose and meaning? For the Stoics, purpose wasn't about achieving external success or meeting society's expectations. Instead, it was about living in accordance with nature, fulfilling the role you were meant to play in the world, and contributing to the greater good. It's about understanding that your life has a unique path, and your purpose is to walk that path with integrity and dedication. Let's break this down. Imagine you're at a crossroads in your career. You have a choice between taking a high-paying job that doesn't align with your values or pursuing a passion that brings you joy but offers less financial security. The Stoic approach would encourage you to choose the path that aligns with your values and contributes to your sense of purpose, even if it's the more difficult choice. Why? Because in the long run, living a life of purpose and meaning brings deeper satisfaction than any amount of money or status. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to focus on the bigger picture. He understood that his actions should be guided by a sense of duty, not just to himself, but to his family, his community, and humanity as a whole. He wrote, "What we do now echoes in eternity." This powerful statement reminds us that our actions have a lasting impact, and living with purpose means considering how our choices will resonate, not just today, but for years to come. Living with purpose also means embracing the challenges that come your way. It's easy to stay committed to your purpose when things are going well, but the real test comes when you face obstacles. Stoics believed that these challenges are not distractions from your purpose, but essential parts of it. Each obstacle is an opportunity to reaffirm your commitment and grow stronger in the process. But how do you find your purpose? The Stoics would advise that it starts with self-reflection. Take time to ask yourself what truly matters to you. What are your core values? What brings you joy and fulfillment? What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? These are big questions, and the answers might not come overnight. But by consistently reflecting on them, you can start to uncover your true purpose. Once you have a sense of your purpose, the next step is to live it out in your daily life. This doesn't mean making grand gestures or drastic changes. Often, it's the small, everyday actions that align with your purpose that make the biggest difference. Whether it's the way you treat others, the effort you put into your work, or the choices you make in your personal life, living with purpose means ensuring that your actions reflect your values. Another key aspect of living with purpose is finding meaning in what you do, even in tasks that seem mundane or insignificant. Stoics believed that we could find meaning if we approached them with the right mindset. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself to perform every task as if it were his last, with full attention and dedication. By doing so, even the smallest actions become meaningful, contributing to your overall sense of purpose. It's also important to recognize that your purpose may evolve over time. Life is not static, and neither is your purpose. As you grow and experience new things, your understanding of what gives your life meaning may change. This is natural, and the Stoics encourage us to be adaptable, to embrace change, and to continue seeking purpose throughout our lives. Finally, living a life of purpose and meaning isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's also about contributing to something greater than yourself. The Stoics believed in the importance of community and service to others. They understood that we are all interconnected, and that by helping others and contributing to the common good, we enhance our own sense of purpose and fulfillment. So as you navigate your life, keep coming back to this question. Am I living with purpose and meaning? Let it guide your decisions, shape your actions, and inspire you to live each day with intention. Remember, it's not about where you end up, it's about how you walk the path. And when you walk with purpose, you'll find that your life is richer, more fulfilling, and more meaningful than you ever imagined. Lesson 8. Practice gratitude. Gratitude. It's a word we hear often, especially in today's wellness culture. But what does it really mean, and why is it so important? The Stoics believed that practicing gratitude is not just a nice thing to do. It's a fundamental aspect of living a good life. They understood that gratitude has the power to shift our perspective, transform how we see the world, and to bring us closer to inner peace. Let's start by considering what it feels like to be ungrateful. When we focus on what we lack, when we compare ourselves to others, or when we take the good things in our lives for granted, create a sense of dissatisfaction. This dissatisfaction can lead to feelings of frustration, envy, and even despair. We become so caught up in what we don't have that we fail to appreciate what we do have. But the Stoics knew that this mindset is a trap. They taught that true happiness comes not from acquiring more, from appreciating what we already have. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, often wrote about the importance of gratitude. He believed that by focusing on the good in our lives, we could cultivate a sense of contentment and peace, no matter our external circumstance. So how do we practice gratitude in our daily lives? One simple but powerful method is to keep a gratitude journal. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. Often, it's the small, everyday moments that bring the most joy. Maybe it's the warmth of the sun on your face, the sound of laughter, or the taste of your favorite meal. By taking time to reflect on these moments, you train your mind to focus on the positive, rather than dwelling on the negative. But gratitude isn't just about recognizing the good things. It's also about appreciating the challenges. This might seem counterintuitive, but the Stoics believed that even our difficulties and hardships deserve gratitude. Why? Because they teach us valuable lessons and help us grow. When we face adversity, we have the opportunity to develop resilience, strength, and wisdom. By viewing challenges through the lens of gratitude, we can find meaning and purpose, even in difficult times. For example, think about a time when you faced a major challenge. Maybe it was a loss, a failure, or a setback. In the moment, it likely felt overwhelming. But looking back, can you see how that experience helped you grow? Perhaps it made you stronger, more compassionate, or more determined. By practicing gratitude for the lessons learned from difficult experiences, we can transform our perception of them, seeing them not as obstacles but as opportunities for growth. Gratitude also has the power to improve our relationships. When we express appreciation for the people in our lives, for their kindness, their support, or simply their presence, we strengthen our connections with them. The Stoics believed that our relationships are one of the most important aspects of a fulfilling life, and gratitude plays a key role in nurturing those relationships. By regularly expressing gratitude to others, we not only make them feel valued, but we also deepen our own sense of connection and belonging. But what about those times when gratitude feels difficult? We all have days when it's hard to see the good, when life feels overwhelming, and when practicing gratitude seems like an impossible task. The Stoics acknowledged this and taught that in these moments, it's even more important to practice gratitude. It's precisely when we're struggling that we need to shift our focus from what's wrong to what's right. Even on the toughest days, there is always something to be grateful for. Whether it's the support of a friend, comfort of a familiar routine, or the simple fact you've made it through another day. Another powerful way to practice gratitude is through mindful appreciation. This involves slowing down and really noticing the details of your everyday life. When you take a walk, pay attention to the beauty of nature. The colors of the leaves, the sound of the wind, the feeling of the earth beneath your feet. When you eat a meal, savor the flavors and textures. When you spend time with loved ones, be fully present and appreciate their company. These small acts of mindfulness can help you cultivate a deep sense of gratitude for the simple pleasures of life. The Stoics also believed that gratitude is closely tied to humility. They understood that we are not entitled to anything in life, that everything we have, from our health to our relationships to our material possessions, is a gift. By practicing gratitude, we acknowledge the abundance in our lives and recognize that we are not the sole creators of our success. This humility allows us to appreciate the contributions of others and the role of fortune in our lives. So as you go about your day, take time to practice gratitude. Start by noticing the good things in your life, both big and small. Reflect on the lessons you've learned from your challenges and express appreciation to those who support you. Remember, gratitude is not just an occasional act. It's a way of life. By making gratitude a daily practice, you'll find that your perspective shifts, your mood improves, and you become more resilient in the face of life's challenges. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, when you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive. Think, to enjoy, to love. This simple act of gratitude can set the tone for your entire day, helping you approach life with a sense of appreciation and peace. Lesson 9. Treat others with kindness and respect. Kindness and respect. Two simple words, but they carry immense power. In a world that often feels divided, where misunderstandings and conflicts are common, Stoics remind us of the importance of treating others with kindness and respect. This isn't just about being polite or following social norms. It's about recognizing the inherent dignity of every human being and acting in a way that honors that dignity. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled as a Roman emperor, was a man with immense power. Yet, he constantly reminded himself to treat everyone, from the highest-ranking officials to the lowest servants, with kindness and respect. In his meditations, he wrote, "Kindness is invincible." He understood that by treating others with kindness, he could create a more just and harmonious world. But what does it mean to be kind and respectful? Kindness isn't just about doing good deeds. It's about having a genuine concern for the well-being of others. It's about seeing beyond your own needs and desires and recognizing the humanity in everyone you encounter. Respect, on the other hand, is about acknowledging the worth of others, regardless of their status, background, or beliefs. It's about treating people with the dignity they deserve, simply because they are human. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you're at work, and a colleague makes a mistake that affects your project. Your first reaction might be frustration or anger, especially if it creates more work for you. But before you react, take a moment to consider the situation from their perspective. Perhaps they were under stress, dealing with a personal issue, or simply made an honest error. By approaching the situation with kindness and respect, you not only address the issue more effectively, but you also build a stronger relationship with your colleague. The Stoics believed that we are all connected, that we share a common humanity, and that what we do to others, we ultimately do to ourselves. This idea is reflected in the concept of sympathia, which means the interconnectedness of all things. When we treat others with kindness and respect, we contribute to the well-being of the whole community, creating a ripple effect that spreads far beyond the immediate interaction. But kindness and respect aren't always easy, especially when we're dealing with difficult people or challenging situations. The Stoics recognized this and taught that we should strive to act with kindness and respect, not because others deserve it, but because it reflects our own values and character. In other words, we treat others well, not because of who they are, because of who we are. This approach requires patience, empathy, and self-control. It means listening to others, even when we disagree with them. It means responding with compassion, even when we feel hurt or angry. And it means standing up for what is right, even when it's difficult or unpopular. By practicing kindness and respect, we demonstrate the virtues that the Stoics held dear: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Another important aspect of this lesson is the idea of reciprocity. The Stoics believe that what we give to others, we ultimately receive in return. When we show kindness and respect, we create an environment where others are more likely to respond in kind. This doesn't mean that we should expect something in return for our kindness, but rather that kindness and respect have a way of coming back to us, often when we least expect it. But what about those times when our kindness is not reciprocated, when we're met with hostility or indifference? The Stoics would remind us that we cannot control how others respond, but we can control how we choose to act. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the fact that we live in a world where people may act out of ignorance or malice, but this should not deter us from living according to our own principles. He wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." In other words, we should not let the actions of others dictate our own behavior. By continuing to act with kindness and respect, we remain true to ourselves and our values. Kindness and respect also extend to how we treat ourselves. The Stoics believe that self-respect is the foundation of a virtuous life. When we respect ourselves, we hold ourselves to high standards, we make choices that align with our values, and we take care of our physical, emotional, and mental well-being. By treating ourselves with kindness and respect, we set the tone for how we interact with others. In today's fast-paced world, it can be easy to forget the importance of kindness and respect. We're often in a hurry, focused on our own needs, and distracted by the demands of daily life. But the Stoics teach us that kindness and respect are not optional. They are essential to living a good life. They remind us that every interaction is an opportunity. Practice these virtues to contribute to the well-being of others and to create a more just and compassionate world. So the next time you interact with someone, whether it's a friend, a colleague, a stranger, or even yourself, remember the Stoic lesson. Treat others with kindness and respect. By doing so, you'll not only improve your relationships and your own well-being, but you'll also be contributing to a better world, one small act of kindness at a time. Lesson 10. Never stop learning and growing. Life is an endless journey of learning and growth. The Stoics believed that one of the most essential aspects of living a fulfilling life is the commitment, continuous self-improvement. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and a devoted Stoic, embodied this principle throughout his life. Despite his immense power and influence, he never stopped seeking knowledge, never stopped reflecting on his experiences, and never stopped striving to become a better person. But what does it really mean to never stop learning and growing? For the Stoics, learning wasn't just about accumulating knowledge for the sake of it. It was about cultivating wisdom, understanding the deeper truths of life, and using that understanding to live more virtuously. Growth wasn't just about achieving personal success or reaching new milestones. It was about developing character, becoming more resilient, and aligning more closely with one's highest values. Let's start by considering the idea of wisdom. Stoics saw wisdom as the highest virtue, the foundation upon which all other virtues are built. But wisdom isn't something you're born with, something you develop through experience, reflection, and the constant pursuit of knowledge. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that every day was an opportunity to learn something new, to gain a deeper understanding of himself and the world around him. This quest for wisdom wasn't just an intellectual exercise for Marcus Aurelius. It was deeply practical. He used his understanding to guide his decisions, to maintain his composure in the face of challenges, and to live in a way that was true to his principles. For Marcus, and for the Stoics in general, the pursuit of wisdom was inseparable from the pursuit of a good life. It was about learning how to live in harmony with nature, how to fulfill one's role in the world, and how to make decisions that lead to true happiness and peace. But wisdom alone is not enough. The Stoics also emphasized the importance of growth, personal, moral, and spiritual growth. They believe that we are not static beings. We are constantly evolving, and it is our duty to strive to become the best versions of ourselves. This growth is not measured by external achievements or recognition, but by the development of our character and the deepening of our understanding. One key aspect of this growth is resilience, the ability to adapt and thrive in the face of adversity. The Stoics taught that life is full of challenges and obstacles, but these are not barriers to our growth. They are essential parts of it. Every setback, every failure, every difficulty is an opportunity to learn, to become stronger, and to refine our character. Stoics believe that true growth happens not when things are easy, but when we are tested, when we are pushed to our limits, and when we rise to the occasion. Consider for a moment a time when you faced a significant challenge. Perhaps it was a personal loss, professional failure, or a moment of deep uncertainty. At the time, it might have felt overwhelming, even insurmountable. But looking back, and you see how that experience helped you grow, maybe it taught you something important about yourself, about your strengths and weaknesses, or about what truly matters to you. This is the kind of growth the Stoics valued, growth that comes from facing life's challenges head-on and using them as opportunities to become wiser, stronger, and more resilient. Another crucial aspect of never stopping learning and growing is cultivating self-awareness. The Stoics believe that self-knowledge is the foundation of wisdom. By understanding our own thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, we can make more informed decisions and live more intentionally. Self-awareness allows us to identify areas where we need to grow, where we might be falling short of our ideals, and where we can make meaningful changes in our lives. Self-reflection is a powerful tool in this process. The Stoics, especially Marcus Aurelius, practiced daily self-reflection as a way to keep their minds focused on what truly mattered. Marcus used his journal, now known as Meditations, to reflect on his actions, remind himself of his values, and to consider how he could improve. By making reflection a regular habit, we can develop a deeper understanding of ourselves and stay committed to our growth. But growth doesn't happen in isolation. The Stoics also believed in the importance of learning from others. They understood that wisdom is not something we achieve on our own, something we cultivate through our interactions with others, through listening, observing, and being open to new perspectives. Whether it's through reading the works of great thinkers, seeking advice from mentors, or engaging in meaningful conversations, we can learn a great deal from the experiences and insights of others. However, this requires humility. We must be willing to acknowledge that we don't have all the answers, that there is always more to learn, and that we can benefit from the knowledge and experience of others. The Stoics encouraged us to approach life with an open mind, to be willing to listen, and to be ready to change our opinions when presented with new evidence or insights. This humility is essential for growth because it allows us to continually refine our understanding and improve ourselves. In addition to learning from others, the Stoics believe that growth is about contributing to the greater good. They taught that our knowledge and wisdom should not be used solely for personal gain, but to help others and to make the world a better place. This means using our talents, skills, and resources to serve others, to act with integrity, and to work towards a more just and compassionate society. Growth, for the Stoics, was not just a personal endeavor. It was a communal one. They believed that by improving ourselves, we contribute to the improvement of the whole community. This is why they placed such a strong emphasis on virtue, because they understood that our actions have a ripple effect, impacting not just ourselves but everyone around us. So, as you continue on your journey, remember this Stoic lesson. Never stop learning. Never stop growing. Embrace challenges as opportunities for growth, cultivate self-awareness, learn from others, and use your knowledge to contribute to the greater good. By doing so, you'll not only become wiser and more virtuous, but you'll also live a life of greater meaning and fulfillment. In the words of Marcus Aurelius, what we do now echoes in eternity. Every decision you make, every action you take, every lesson you learn, it all contributes to the person you are becoming and the legacy you will leave behind. So make it count. Commit to a life of continuous learning and growth, and you will find that you are not only more resilient and wise, but also more at peace with yourself and the world around you. So here we are at the end of our journey through these 10 timeless Stoic lessons. But in truth, this is not an end, it's just the beginning. The principles we've explored today are more than just philosophical ideas. They are practical tools that can be applied to every aspect of our lives, helping us to navigate the chaos of modern existence with grace, wisdom, and resilience. The world we live in is full of distractions, challenges, and uncertainties. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, to get lost in the noise, and to lose sight of what truly matters. But the Stoics remind us that peace, purpose, and fulfillment are not found in external circumstance. They are cultivated within. By applying these Stoic principles, we can transform how we experience the world, turning obstacles into opportunities, finding contentment in simplicity, and maintaining our integrity in the face of adversity. Imagine for a moment how your life could change if you truly embraced these teachings. Instead of reacting with frustration or anger when things don't go your way, you could pause, reflect, and choose a response that aligns with your values. Instead of constantly striving for more, you could find happiness in what you already have, appreciating the small, everyday moments that bring joy and meaning to your life. Instead of being consumed by regrets about the past or worries about the future, you could live fully in the present, making the most of each day as it comes. This is not to say that living according to Stoic principles is easy. It requires discipline, self-awareness, and a commitment to growth. But the rewards are profound. By practicing these lessons, you'll find that you're better equipped to handle whatever life throws your way. You'll discover a sense of inner peace that remains steady, even in the midst of life's storms. And you'll develop a deeper sense of purpose, knowing that you're living in accordance with your highest values. But remember, the journey doesn't end here. The principles of Stoicism are not something you can learn once and then forget. They require continuous practice and reflection. Every day presents new challenges, new opportunities to apply what you've learned. Whether it's a difficult conversation, a setback at work, or a moment of self-doubt, these are the moments when Stoicism can truly make a difference. So, I encourage you to take these lessons with you into your everyday life. Start small, choose one principle that resonates with you, and make a conscious effort to apply it. Perhaps it's focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. Or maybe it's practicing gratitude, even on the tough days. Whatever it is, commit to it and see how it changes your perspective, your relationships, and your sense of well-being. And as you continue on this journey, don't forget the importance of community. The Stoics believe that we are all connected, that we have a duty not only to ourselves but to each other. Share what you've learned with those around you, your friends, your family, your colleagues. Engage in discussions, exchange ideas, and support one another in the pursuit of a meaningful life. By doing so, you'll not only deepen your own understanding of these principles, but also help create a more compassionate and wise world. As we wrap up this video, I want to leave you with one final thought from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This simple yet profound statement encapsulates the essence of Stoic philosophy. It's a reminder that true power, true peace, comes from within. No matter what challenges you face, no matter how chaotic the world around you may seem, you have the power to choose how you respond. And in that choice lies your strength, freedom, and your path to a life of wisdom, virtue, and fulfillment. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Stoicism. I hope you found these lessons as inspiring and valuable as I do. If you did, please consider sharing this video with others who might benefit from these timeless teachings. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. Together, let's continue to learn, grow, and live with purpose. Until next time, remember to stay true to yourself, to live with intention, and to find peace in the midst of life's chaos. See you in the next video.